You're watching Zoo Tours, the channel that takes you on a virtual field trip to the zoo. Welcome back to what might possibly be America's greatest up-and-coming zoo, the Nashville Zoo. A place famous for creating such a soft and calming atmosphere. Their conservation work with rare, endangered, and adorable animals. Their unmatched exhibit design, and it's only going to get better from here. Before we can look into their future, we'll go back and look at the zoo's very beginnings. The Jungle Loop isn't just one area as a whole, but it's one path comprised of several standalone attractions. We've already taken a look at the gorgeous Tiger Crossroads, the Award Winning Expedition Peru, and the always cheek-lifting Bamboo Trail. And today we will be observing the remainder of what this loop has to offer. But before we do that, I want to know what you think is an underappreciated or underrepresented species that are missing in zoos. We'll start exactly where we left off at the Baird's Taper Oasis and the Leopard's Tail end of the Bamboo Trail. To kick off this episode is the Flamingo Lagoon, a very simple, lagoon full of an array of those pretty and pink birds. Flamingos, a bird so common that I feel like even the general public kind of sees them as one species. Or they say, there's those pink smelly birds again. But there are actually 6 different kinds, each unique in their own size, shape, and colors. Nashville is home to 3, Chilean, which are usually behind the scenes, and 2 at the Flamingo Lagoon. American of the Caribbean, and the greater flamingo of Africa, Middle East, India, and even Southern Europe. Down the road and around the corner is the Critter Encounters, Nashville's version of a children's zoo. A lot of what's here can be viewed beyond the main barrier, and that includes 2 reptiles that were often used in ride stations in zoos long ago. The Aldabra and Galapagos giant tortoises, 2 of the world's largest tortoises in one exhibit. And they don't really do much, but when they feast, it's pretty entertaining. It might take them hours to do it, but they can consume up to 80 pounds in just one day. And they both love their fruits and veggies, and feces, and the occasional carcass. Now you're probably wondering which species is which. Well, very coincidentally, I'll be able to answer that on the next episode when we see these 2 together again. If you do finally brave it out to walk into the main encounter, because let's face it, children can be scary, the first thing that you'll notice is that the entire Critter Encounters is a contact yard. Along the outer edge of the yard is a row of 3 aviaries. The first was empty, but the second contained a mix of the always beautiful blue-bellied roller of Africa and the critically endangered maleo from a family of chicken-like birds that are endemic to Sulawesi and the island of Buton of Indonesia. The third aviary features the toko toucan of South America. Not only the largest of the 40-plus kinds of toucans, but they also possess one of the largest beak-to-body ratios of almost every bird. And I want you to tell us below what bird does in fact have the largest beak-to-body ratio. At the top of the key is a herd of alpacas, who are given walks from here to the Expedition Peru and back. In the last 2 pens, it really is a shame, based on my experience, that more children's zoos don't have pigs. Miniature Juliana pigs, to be more specific. You get to watch all these animals while also sharing the space with 4 breeds of goats, or what we like to call in this household, best friends. You can come to them, or they can come to you, and they can also escape from you if they wanted to. And this is the first time I've seen zoos allow guests to brush them. Either that or we stole someone else's brush. And we also saw the goats eating leaves, so my lovely assistant thought it would be a good idea to help them out. Let's see how she does. Nope. Nuh-uh. Not happening. Nope. Yay, finally, she did it. This is gonna sound a bit confusing, but the Critter Encounters is actually the last part of the Jungle Loop, and we're on our way to the trail's first exhibit. Believe me, I had my reasons. But like all my other visits, I never really got any movement in here. So just around the bend is a viewing shelter that intercepts 2 more exhibits. The one on the left has a bit of an overlook, where I finally got to see the double wattled cassowary. Though they are shaped like them, there's no mistaking cassowaries for emus and ostriches. Their neck is blue, their feathers are shiny, and they have a large casque on their head. Experts suggest it acts as a shock absorber that protects the bird's head as it pushes through the dense forest, kind of like a helmet. The other side of the shelter doesn't have a drop-off. In fact, it's not even really your average exhibit at all. If you open the doors, you are officially in the Kangaroo Kickabout. Now wait, didn't we just see one of these? No, first of all, Kangaroo Kickabout. Let's give the zoo some credit for avoiding the W word. Second, the last time we saw one of these, you couldn't actually share the space with the animals. I'll admit the concept is a little overdone, but the Kickabout isn't just any other walkthrough enclosure. It's one of the zoo's 3 interactive walkthrough enclosures. Even though you are required to stay on the path, if the roos do come close enough, you can pet them. Once again, the first zoo that I've been to that allows this. And look at that. Look how happy I was. But remember, you can only pet their backs. And yes, there are docents to make sure that you follow the rules. But that wasn't our only surprise. I found out that over the summer of 2022, 6 of their females had joeys in their pouches. Maybe it's too soon to feature roos again, but it's never too soon for joeys. Compared to the last one we saw, this little pouch potato looks like they're getting a little bit too big. Around 6 months, they will leave the pouch for short periods of time and then come back for some grub. A couple of months later, and they'll probably leave for good. Like I said, it looks like the pouch is getting a little full there. But for Mama, that clearly doesn't stop her from hopping around and even keeping her baby away from the paparazzi. The loop's 4th habitat will also be this episode's last. A 2 3/4 of an acre African savanna, making this the largest exhibit in the zoo by just a few square feet. And it's not filled with your usual plains or savanna species. Well, it does have ostriches. The viewing fence has an ostrich nest display to show you just how big their eggs are. And there also is a very modest herd of plains zebras, the most common and widespread of the zebra species. But you know what's not very common in the US much these days? The common eland. And they are huge, except for little Murray right here. The boys can get up to 6 feet tall at the shoulder and over 2,000 pounds, which is over 1,000 pounds heavier than the next antelope that's smaller than them, and only a few hundred pounds short of being crowned heavy antelope champion. And to close it all out, we have the Bontabak. My assistant asked, is that even English? Actually, no. If anyone wanted to know, it's an Afrikaans word that means either patchwork buck or spotted billy goat. And the next time we come across this awesome antelope, you'll learn how it nearly went extinct. And after now 3 years, we are done with the entire left side of the Nashville Zoo. If you want to see it all, I've left a pile of links in the description of the entire Jungle Loop. The next time we are back in Nashville, it will be the Savannah Loop's time to shine. So please stay tuned. See if you can answer this week's trivia question. And thank you all for watching Zoo Tours.